back to my channel. So I know this is a little late. I was not around for this launch and I just got back from Uganda. That's a lie. I got back from Uganda like 2 weeks ago, but I just found time to finally get back into the groove of my YouTube-ish life. So welcome. If you haven't already, I would like to tell you guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on all my social platforms, and that's where the conversation and a lot of helpful content and videos are always posted every week. So let's get right into this. So this is the bottle, obviously, for the concealer. So I went with the color 460, and I'll elaborate on that a little bit later. But I just wanted to show you guys just how creamy it is applying on my face. I live for a creamy concealer. Like, let me tell you, it's just easier to apply, you know? You don't want to be stressing your elbow out trying to blend some product. Anyway, I will also mention that I should have put a lot, well, not a lot more, but I should have put a little bit more concealer on my forehead because it was harder to blend in that area. I just didn't put enough. So that's something to consider and to learn from my mistakes. So as you can tell, it is a little bit orangey slash, like, I guess what would make sense would be like a yellow, or sorry, a red undertone, but it does spread very, very, very well and pretty easily. I'm just using a damp beauty blender with, obviously you saw me put on the Fix Plus, and it's just super easy to apply, which makes such a difference when you're doing your makeup. And you can tell my forehead is a little harder to blend out just because I didn't put enough concealer in that area. So yeah, it is a little orange, but it is what it is. So I used the setting powder in the color Nutmeg, and as you can see here, it is so pretty. It's just nice to have setting powders that make sense for your own skin tone. Anyways, so it is actually thicker. It's a thicker powder, so it is a bit harder to apply and like to stick on the brush, or sorry, the beauty blender, and then apply on your face. And it is a little harder to brush it off your face. But I think that in my mind, that just might equate to it just being better quality. I don't know, like we'll see over time. But yeah, I did need to mention that to you guys. That's pretty much it. So as you saw in the application process, I actually really liked both. I've used the Fenty Beauty Powder quite a few times, and I just feel like, you know, maybe it's just setting extra hard or extra good. I don't know yet, but I will keep you guys posted in my Instagram. But I really love the color, which we'll get into in a little bit. And then the concealer, I live for a creamy concealer for an under eye application and to highlight and brighten. And I actually really liked this concealer. Alright, so the next category that we're going to talk about today is the price. So the concealer is 26 USD, which I felt like was pretty standard. I like to compare Fenty with like NARS and brands on like that spectrum, just because the quality is very similar, and I feel like you're pretty much now getting pretty much the same similar types of like brand spectrum, usually for price anyways. So I felt like it was pretty fair for 26 USD for getting a concealer at that quality, at that level caliber, considering with Sephora and whatnot. Fenty I find is usually slightly cheaper, but still considered more of like a higher end Sephora brand, obviously, and not a drugstore brand. So the size of it, for all translucent powder, or sorry, for all powders, setting powders, I kind of find it really hilarious that they give you so much, but I guess at the end of the day, it should last you a really long time, which is the point. But the Fenty Beauty one is pretty standard size in comparison to all the industry ones, and the concealer is a little bit bigger than brands such as NARS or whatever it may be, and wearability and longevity, I feel like you're using pretty standard amount. It's not like the Huda Beauty where you don't need to use a lot at all. Like a little goes a long way. But it's not as bad as the NARS Creamy Concealer where you need to be using a lot more in order to cover up your areas. It's a little bit thicker, which is kind of nice. Oh. So both of these are actually pretty available. It's Fenty Beauty. You can literally get that everywhere. So you'll find it at your local Sephora, in-store, or online, which is fast delivery. And the Fenty Beauty website, I mean, I like my Sephora points, so that's where you'll find me buying it often. but generally speaking, you can get it anywhere, which is amazing. And a lot of these categories for the everyday person, it doesn't really matter, but if you're a beauty enthusiast, it really does, because you want to make sure you're buying products that are not going to get discontinued quickly. You'll be able to find when you run out, because the worst thing to do is to hunt for makeup. It is so annoying. Like, you already have so many other things in life to worry about. Why would you need to hunt for makeup? Like, I don't know, it's just crazy. Alright, so the next category that I want to talk about, as you can see my phone is out, after a few hours. So I'm going to say after 8 hours, because it's usually like someone's work day, or like if you go for an event, I don't know. Anyways, and to be honest, I don't want to film late at night. So right now it is 1:27 in Toronto, and I'm going to come back in about 8 hours and let you guys know how it looks. Alright, so now it is 10:29, as you guys can see, so it's been about 9 hours, and you can definitely tell because my hair is a mess and my face is super oily. But what I wanted to highlight in this is to show you guys how under my eye area is so, like, the mattest part of my face. So it definitely sets really well, and even here it's still shiny, but generally speaking it's really, really good. I didn't do any touch-ups. I really wanted to stay true to the product alone, and no, I didn't put translucent powder like I normally would. I didn't dab too much. I just dabbed a little bit here, so it wasn't like too much for the camera. But generally speaking, you can see how it's still set, and it's not doing, minus my eyelash falling off, it's not doing crazy creases under the eye, which I was a little worried about the first time I wore it, but then I realized, I looked in the mirror, it must have been 16 hours after the fact, and I was like, this is not a 16-hour foundation, obviously. But yeah, I'm really happy that my under eye still looks normal, and hours. And my very last category that I want to touch on with you guys, which is my favorite category, which is why I leave it for last, is the color. So the colors for both of these, I ended up going with a 460 in the Fenty Beauty, and I absolutely loved this color. I swatched so many different colors in store, which I'll leave here, and I tried them all on. I sat there. I like to go to Sephora like maybe an hour and a half before they're closing in the middle of the week, and that's when I feel like I can sit down and really do my research and test things out for myself and what works for my face and myself and my skin or whatever. So I sat down and I felt like 460 worked the best. I understand, I think that they wanted to do pairings which worked well for your skin tone with that whatever, but sometimes people want more brightening, sometimes people want less brightening. People are really specific. So as you can tell, I wanted to mention as well, before I forget, was if you guys watched my previous Fenty Beauty video, you would know that the foundation I use is 470, and I bought that right after I had come back from a trip in Italy, and I was a lot darker than my usual self. And although I just came back from Uganda, I guess I wasn't in the sun that much, because I don't feel like I got that much darker, which I can tell through my makeup. So my chest is what I like to match up to, and you can tell it's rather red on my face, and that's 470. So now I would probably go for a 450 or 460, but probably 450, and that's probably why this concealer worked so well for me. I wasn't even wearing foundation at the time, but I kind of know what works in terms of all the other concealers that I have. The other thing that I wanted to mention, which I love, is how she had a broad range of setting powders. This is huge, and I think this is what made Van Nuys so big for people who don't do costume makeup, is literally the setting powders. A lot of brands don't have multiple colored setting powders. They just kind of have like a banana looking color, which is for like lighter people. Like, it looks horrible on me. I would never wear that ever again. Or they would go for, I guess, a translucent powder, but I don't like using translucent to set my under eye. I like using the translucent to set my whole face, but that's like after the fact. So I went with the color Nutmeg for hers, and I felt like this was easier to even find than the concealer. I just saw it, I looked, there was a color darker and a color lighter, and I was like, you know what, this is the perfect setting powder for my under eye. Not my face, my under eye. So this literally worked so well. I absolutely love it. It's such a pretty chocolatey color, and I'm really happy with this purchase. And also this, I don't know if I mentioned this in the size of it, but the size of it obviously goes a long way. So overall, I want to say that I actually really was so excited for this launch, and it launched when I wasn't here. That's why this video is kind of late, but I came back and the first thing I did, maybe the second day when I got back home, was I like ran to Sephora. I was like, I need Fenty Beauty, and I wanted to try it for a little bit before I did a video. Usually I had gotten in the pattern of doing first impressions, but I really wanted to try this out first, so this is just a regular review. But that pretty much wraps up my whole video. I am so happy if you guys watched this whole video and found it very informative and helpful. I would love to hear your thoughts. Did you guys think the color match was really well? I mean, my face is kind of red, but if you focus on my under eye and like these other brightening areas, what did you guys think? Leave comments below and let's start a conversation. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will check you guys in my next video. Bye, loves.